Hey guys, in today's video we're going to be working on this GO250 dirt bike. So I haven't really looked too far into it. I got it on a trade last night. If you guys don't know, I had a 1991 Bio 300 and I did a fair trade on it, I believe, because yes, it looks rough on the outside, but the engine sounds great. I got a clip of it idling, but currently, at least for whatever reason, it didn't seem to rev up really well when, I tried it. So I'm gonna assume that the carb has some bad gas in it, and then you also have to assume that the gas in here is no good, so I'll probably drain that out. We'll check the oil, make sure it's nice and fresh. I'm just gonna do my normal checks when buying a used bike, and I'll show you guys what to look out for. But without further ado, let's roll around the garage. Okay, so the first thing I'm gonna do is remove the seat. We're gonna take the carb apart, get all up in there, remove the float bowl, drain the old gas. Pretty standard stuff. Okay, so we're down to the subframe, and quite honestly, the wires look factory, which is a good sign. And you can see our battery cables. Whoa, negative looks a little ghetto. This is where your normal battery would sit, and then right here is your airbox. It looks like Buddy drilled some holes into it, so we're gonna make sure the air filter looks good. So for whatever reason, there's a Robinson screw holding the airbox down, which is definitely not factory. There we go. Okay, so we're gonna move these wires. It looks like our starter solenoid is right there, and I like to clean off the airbox lid so that way when you pull it off, all the dirt doesn't fall on the filter. Hopefully we don't get screwed. I don't know. This bike it's in good shape, but it's not. So let's look under here or try to get it out, right? Not really sure how to go about this, because I'll be honest with you, I do not work on dirt bikes. There it goes. Okay, so it looks like it's got like a little vent, and that's how it gets its air. Oh Jesus, that looks pretty dirty. Okay, so further inspection of this air filter, it looks like it's soaked and it's quite dirty. So what I'm gonna assume is that if the air filter looks like this, Lord knows what the carb looks like. So we're gonna dive into that here in a second. Okay, we're gonna get this gas tank out of the way. Get this screw out, and it's stripped. Let's try this bottom one down here. It looks more like a freaking key slot than it does this normal screw. But if we can unbolt the plastics, we can get the tank off. So before we pull the tank off, I just want to mention you want to shut your fuel off. And if you don't have that, your best bet is to get a rag and hope for the best and just tip it on the side, because gas is going to go everywhere. And even now, just to be safe, I'll have this around. But as I pull up on this, I noticed that, I'll get the camera closer in here in a sec, it says Mikuni. So it's pretty common with these 250 type of bikes that the factory carb is junk, so people will bolt on an aftermarket one. So if that's a genuine Mikuni, we'll find out in a little bit. That's pretty cool. So it's definitely worth some money. And I'm an idiot. I just pulled it straight off the tank. Don't do that. I gotta get here at a better angle. So the easiest way to do that was to make an absolute mess. So I currently have it draining in a bucket. But, so now this thing is coated with fuel for the most part, but it is what it is. So from here on out, I do have pretty much full access to the carb itself. So I'm just gonna get a flathead screwdriver, and we're gonna remove the airbox boot, or loosen it. Okay. We're gonna get our top cap removed. Seems like it's on there pretty tight for like no reason. There we go. Throttle slide. Okay. Seeing that's still moving just fine, so not seized up or nothing. Fuel line is disconnected, so I'll double check, but we should be able to remove the carb now. So that seemed really unnecessary. In order to get this freaking airbox piece out, I had to undo the subframe bolts, pivot it up, and then slide it out. Now I'm just gonna unbolt the carburetor, and that 10mm wrench that Buddy included with the bike is coming in handy because I don't have any that's this skinny and long, right? So fits in the spot just fine. But we'll undo these nuts, and then hopefully the carb, honestly that air filter alone would make the bike run weird because it's soaked with water, so we'll make sure we clean that out. There we are. Carb is officially out of the bike. This wing nut out of here, set it aside, and oh my god, this is really bad. So hopefully we can just soak I can't talk today. Soak this in soap and water and see what that does. But regardless of that, like, there's literal rocks in here, guys. Like, what? Just want to note something. This is a genuine Mikuni carb. It says made in Japan. Pretty freaking cool. So this right here is probably $100, $120 easily. So guys, I'm just cleaning this airbox out off camera just because I got the freaking pressure washer out over there and it still wasn't enough, so it's just gonna require a lot of scrubbing. But if I want this bike to last, this is what I have to do, so it is what it is. Okay, so now I'm just going to soak the air filter in the soapy water, and then we'll get to the carburetor. All you want to do for the air filter is just get some soap onto it, and then we're just going to simply squeeze it like that, and that's going to pull the dirt out. And as you do this, you'll notice the bottom of your bucket or whatever you're using is going to get really dirty, which is good. That means we're getting all the contaminants out. You just repeat the process. See how it's getting nice and dark again before it was right brown from all the caked on dirt. Alright guys, we're going to take our first look at the inside of the carburetor. I recommend getting some nitrile gloves just to protect your hands from the gas. I've learned this the hard way and my hands are super brittle now, so just going to take more caution there. But we're going to undo the float bowl, and hopefully it's not too bad in here, but in a way I hope it is, because that means that was our bog issue. Just really be careful with these screws because they're super easy to strip a lot of the time. There it goes. I have an old sign, that's why the background's moving. Okay, so the carb is finally all cleaned up. From this point forward, we're going to start reassembling the bike. But once I get the carbon intake and all the plastics on, we're just going to simply check the oil once again. And we're going to check the spark plug and see if that needs to be replaced. And then we'll try and start it. Just for reference though, real quick, with these bikes here, choke on is up like that and choke off is like that. I had a few issues with that before because I thought it was backwards, but that's a good thing. Once you take your bike apart, you can realize how everything works. So there you have it. All right, so I got my new gas line on there, got the airbox all hooked up, and now we're gonna move on to our basic tune-up for the bike itself. So what I went ahead and did, as you guys know, is I drained the fuel tank. We're gonna be replacing it with just some regular old 87 octane. I'm gonna be putting a bit of sea foam into the mix, and then we're gonna change the oil, put some fresh oil into it, and then we're gonna change the plug so that we know that everything that I can do in my power to make it run good is gonna be done. Take a look at our oil. It's almost all drained out. Doesn't appear to be a whole lot in there, but the majority of it came out in the beginning there. The color looks fine. It looks a little dark, but no metal shavings or anything like that. A little trick I do want to try though is get my magnet and see if it pulls the oil. That will determine if our engine's wearing out or not. Okay, let's give it a try. It's not moving at all, so that's a good sign. Alright guys, I'm going to call the video there. So I do have a battery over there, but I currently don't have the jumper cables to hook it up. And the kickstart for right now is kind of janky. So like it's supposed to stop here, but it's just completely worn out, so I can't get a good kick onto it. But I do know it runs, so I'm just going to call it there. I'm super tired from trying to start this thing, but hope you guys enjoyed what you saw. Make sure to let me know down below, and thanks for watching.